what we like to do is take our sketch right into a model stage. Some people just like to work from a sketch, but we like to make a 1 inch to a foot scale model. And then what we'll do is actually grid off the block all the way around in 1 foot cubes, and that helps us to get started with some accurate proportions. The first thing we start to do is kind of sketch in our design all the way around, and when we work with the scale model and the grid, that helps us to get a real accurate sketch. And then some of the tools that we're using, some of these bigger tools to take off a lot more snow initially. This is just in a sidewalk ice scraper that has a beveled edge. And you kind of want to be careful in how you use it, because one edge, if you use one edge, it's going to take off a lot of snow. One edge is going to kind of skim the surface a little bit. But also, as far as being careful of, sometimes you can't see somebody else on the other side of the block, and you have a, so what we may do is chop these off and put a handle, because that's a good safety device. Another good tool for some of the initial stuff when you want to take off a lot of snow is this is an ice saw, but you can use just a regular household saw that has the larger the teeth, the better. We also have, look at that big saw over there. We also have a big monster saw that we use, and these are nice because as you're starting to take off a lot of snow, say you know for sure after you've done your sketch, you know for sure that this whole area is coming out, you can as you're cutting, instead of just chopping it all off, you're saving this whole piece. That way you can use it, put it aside and use it to repair any broken pieces, or you can design some add-on pieces like we do with our sketch. A lot of these with our model here, a lot of these insects will be add-ons, so we count on needing a lot of that initial snow to build back up. One thing with a general comment about sculpting is watching your undercuts. Let's say this is some kind of tentacle from an octopus. Until you really know where it is in the block, you don't want to get any back cuts under it to define the backside, because you may at this early point be cutting into the meat of that tentacle. And so we like to just make a straight cut all the way across without cutting back in. And then later, as it gets refined, you can define those. Some of the other tools for, as you're starting to get into more of the shaping, this is a joining plate, and we have attached it to some wood block here, and we're using it more or less as a overgrown piece of sandpaper. And this can help to shape. This is also a good finishing tool, or like a step before finishing, because if it's cold enough, you can just take, and the snow is hard enough, you can take belt sander and start to sand this. and all of the grooves from your joining plate will fill in, and you can almost get a marble-like surface. You know, a lot of times people come by and they look at our sculpture and they are amazed at how smooth it is and how much it looks like marble. Some big chisels to do a lot of the fancy carving, faces and such. This is pretty much what most people use to do a lot of the detail carving. One other really important tool is a drywall saw. This with snow sculpture, you're dealing with a white material. It's white on white, and it's hard sometimes to define your details and your lines, and you kind of have to exaggerate your undercuts sometimes in your line work, and sometimes it's almost like you're doing a snow sculpture and a line drawing, and this helps to get some line and some real definition in some of your forms. So I'm just going to do a little bit of carving. So if this is some kind of form up here, and this is another form coming together, a drywall saw will get you a nice definite line, and you almost don't need that line to be too deep, super deep. It just has to be deep enough that you can see it, and you want to angle that line so that people who are standing at average height can see that. If you're getting up here and you're angling up this way, you're not really going to get to see into that crack and see that definite line unless you're lying on the ground. So be conscious of the viewer being able to read that line. Even if a block is packed really well, there's always some little holes and pocks, and sometimes there's little pieces of dirt or pieces of gravel that get in there, and you have to take them out. But as a result, you'll have holes that need to be filled in, and if you just take a bucket, fill it with some fine powder. If you don't have any, you can take a block of snow. You know, say this is an area you know is going to come off. You can get a bucket, make some fine powder, fill that bucket up with fine powder, and then what you want to do is make a mortar. And really what you're going for is just a packing snow. You don't want slush. What we'll do is just take a bottle of water and just kind of sprinkle lightly over the top and mix it in, sprinkle some more water, mix it in, and just disperse the water throughout the bucket just enough so you have just enough moisture in there to make it you can make a snowball out of it. The bucket of patching material also help you when if you want to build up, or if you want to put fuse some pieces together. Say for instance this form was going to come back up and I wanted to cut this piece off. We kind of keep dry fitting it until we knew we had the two edges that we want. Put in a little bit of that slush, and even if it's just in the center and you won't see it, sometimes we'll pour a little water in there and apply it, and it should fuse together, and then you can patch the seam with your patching material, and that'll be it. Wet. This looks like